We sit back.
It's May. I think I'll join defying gravity. I'm flying high, I'm defying gravity. And soon I'll match them in renown. Do 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 do. And nobody in all of us, no wizard that there is or was, ever gonna bring me down. Bring.
Hello and welcome to This Might Get Personal. My name is Alexander Lloyd Blake and excited for our next guest. She is a singer, songwriter, vocalist, performer, a background vocalist, and has sung with some of your favorite performers, has also done vocal arrangements, and also has sung on their records. So I'm very excited to welcome India Carney. I always mess up that. But you know, I'm going to keep it because that's what we're doing. So,
Okay.
welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
You have so many titles, you know, of the things that you do. So if you're at a dinner party, how do you introduce yourself? If someone says, what do you do?
Oof. Yeah, I guess it depends on who's at the dinner party, because usually, to be honest, I get shy and then act like I haven't done anything. But if I'm trying to like assert myself, yeah, I'll probably say I'm a singer, songwriter, arranger, vocal coach at times.
You go with all of these.
I will go with all of them,
I like
just
that.
because, I think so. I'm sure maybe I've introduced myself as just a singer before. But I usually, it's funny me saying I keep it simple. I usually keep it simple with that list without going into like name dropping,
Sure.
unless they ask and are interested at all. But I'll just keep it, to those titles, I guess. Because I do all of them like almost the same amount.
That's true. I didn't even mention vocal coach.
That's fine.
And I forgot the nail salon that you just started.
I did start a nail salon. I did these myself.
Look at that. Great.
It's really cool when you can save money.
Yes. We don't test for accuracy around here, so hopefully you enjoyed that.
Yeah.
What I didn't also mention is that you were a contestant as a singer on The Voice.
Mm-hmm.
When you look back at that time, what do you think about?
I think good thoughts. I actually had a good time on the show, and I'm glad I did that one. My time with my vocal coach was probably the most memorable for me. I was a student at UCLA at the time, which is where I met you.
Yes.
10 years ago. More than 10 years ago, but I did the show 10 years ago. So I was already like learning technique and stuff. Like I didn't need to lean on the show to necessarily teach me how to sing. I was like, underwater with all of that training already, but I did need moral support. There's not a lot of that in those landscapes, and my vocal coach there really provided that for me. We talked about everything. We talked about, in voice lessons in general, it's easy to delve into kind of a therapy session when you're talking about what the songs are about, what they mean to you. It brought up some serious conversations. I had, a crying episode because the stress just got too much for me, and she was there. And I really appreciated that. That was really invaluable to me. So I'm a perfectionist, always have been, and probably always will be to an extent.
How we relate to each other, I think.
And I think we help temper each other, but we also understand that that's a big part of what makes us great at what we do.
Mm-hmm.
But the show being just like go, go, go forced me to quiet that part of my mind and get a little bit faster to finding my voice, because I didn't find it by the time I started the show. I was still really lost in technique and like what it means to sound good as a singer. But I think in the year after I finished that, I found it. And I feel like, relatively speaking, that's a really quick turnaround. And I do credit that to just like having to learn a new song, few songs every week, not really have any time to yourself because you're doing like promo and BTS shots and that really worked towards my benefit.
Yeah, and the fact that you had to find your voice on national TV, I'm sure brings about another complication.
Yes.
Because that's not exactly the place, especially in a competition, for you to kind of figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're evaluated in every step.
100%.
So.
Yeah, it was nerve-wracking. I had this thing, like my thing was like cracking all over the place. And The Voice was like the first time that I did not crack like during a song. I was just so used to always cracking. And that's where my perfectionist brain like really showed up, because it's like, India, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, God forbid I crack on live TV. And I don't think I did, at least in the way I was used to. I was very grateful for that. Don't love all of my performances, but I don't feel like I embarrassed myself by any means.
No, I think clearly all the things you've done up to now, you did not embarrass yourself.
No, I didn't.
You made a great name for yourself.
Thanks.
And we can just kind of go in to talk about kind of what some of that has led to. So you singing behind, now that you name some of the people, I'll name some of them actually, because I guess that's my job as podcast host.
You should know about me.
I should. I read a little bit. I've also been to some of those concerts. But Katy Perry, Christina Aguilera, Olivia Rodrigo. I know there are so many names, so we'll just stick to those unless there are other ones that you feel particularly happy about.
I mean, happy about all of them.
Of course. I know you said we're still employed, so.
We're still employed. We are.
I love that. So it's funny, we've all seen like the Netflix documentaries, and you see in the hashtag Team BGB, we get more of an insight behind the background vocalist. But what have you learned about yourself through those experiences on tour?
That I'm a really creative person, and I really value collaboration, or at least being part of the thing that I'm doing. I think my dream still at the end of the day is to be a thriving solo artist, but I do see a world where I'd be just as happy, maybe even singing, just doing backgrounds or arranging for people, but only if I'm actually part of the thing. If I'm like Melanie Daniels, or, I have equity.
Right.
And that generally doesn't exist. But I guess after like 10 years or so of doing it, I'm like, okay, I think I see room for me to need to evolve. And I didn't see that coming. Now I understand about myself that I like to have equity in whatever I'm doing.
Yeah. Talking about both The Voice and especially as a background vocalist, finding your voice. And I know from our conversations that has been a musical and a personal journey. So how have you, and you can lean in either way of those, but how have you really kind of worked through the past decade in finding your own voice?
Well, yeah, that dates back to like way before I did The Voice. I'm very grateful to The Voice, but it was one of many stepping stones in my career. I went to music school starting from a young age. So finding my voice started, I don't know, maybe around like 4 years old. I would say it really I started to take more, give it more of a spotlight in high school, I guess, when I was like deeply in musicals and composition class, writing songs for the first time, opera class. That was like the beginnings of my classical foundation, but like the bare bones. Also at the same time, I was doing Saturday school at Manhattan School of Music, where I was I was a vocal major, studying both opera and musical theater there as well. So I had and then I was like singing in church. So I had a ton of influences at the same time. Very busy, shifting. And feeling like I was able to exist in all of those settings But not realizing until college that like, okay, because in college I majored in opera. So that really was the focus of my studies, even though I was also doing a cappella on the side. Not so much on the side because it really is all encompassing. Right. So like, and then still doing my original music and performing around campus, and my stuff is more like pop, R&B, whatever, contemporary. So yeah, it wasn't until college I realized, okay, I'm just taking on a lot. And so I think there was just something divine about the timing of being on The Voice, where I was in such a, I don't know the right word for it, but all of my energy was just focused on one thing for the first time. And I can only attribute it to timing. It was just the right timing. I had the right focus, and then I just had to make decisions. And then shortly after, I started to cement those decisions. And I'm really glad with how things worked out, because I could have never found it. Like in college, I was still like singing everything dark, heavy vibrato. This is a Rihanna song. Like that, right. It doesn't need that.
Doesn't work, yes.
Just because your teacher told you that this is how you sing doesn't mean that that's how you sing everything. So finding my voice has been a lifelong journey, and it will continue. I am settled in where I am now. And I've been feeling that way for maybe the past like 5 to 8 years. And I expect that to change as I grow. But I'm more optimistic about that trending in a direction I like.
And one that you choose.
And one that I choose.
I love that. Personally, you know, because when I met you, you're so polite and so meek. Which is same with me. I'm joking. No.
Well, you are polite, right? Yeah, but
you said polite, yeah.
Not right, but not with your people, you're different.
Have to be. So, how have you learned and how have you developed finding your voice and being able to kind of take a stand for yourself? And what has helped you in that process?
Yeah. Relating it to singing, one thing I'll generally start my sessions off with is asking you to create a list of your favorite qualities about your voice and your style, whatever. It's like open-ended, and then a list of things you'd like to improve upon. And of course, that list is always longer. But the reason I do that is because, it's really important to acknowledge what you do bring to the table already. But the reason I find that it's so hard to find your voice and feel good about your performances and want to share, or like when somebody's like, oh, who wants to sing, not have the confidence to just raise your hand because you know you want to sing anyway. Is a lack of self-confidence, because you actually don't know what you offer. So I have grown a lot more confidence in my singing because I'm confident in what I offer. I don't think I sound like anybody else. And I think whatever I do bring, whether or not I can put it into words, I know that it is unique. And there's something to be said for that. Also, just like logistically speaking, like saying no to things or being better at negotiating, that's just practice. But luckily I have years of practice on me and a few moments that like backfired that I had to learn from. I'm so much better at standing up for myself in business that inevitably it has crossed over into my personal life. Not perfectly though. I'm still very much working on that. And
aren't we all?
Yeah, resisting the urge to apologize to everyone I may have hurt with a simple, misspeak or something legitimate. I don't know. I'm always overthinking that, as you know. But I do think that what I've learned in my singing has definitely helped me in my personal life, and feeling confident about what I do have to offer. I have to remind myself it's the journey of loving yourself. In loving yourself, you identify the things that make you unique, and then you realize that it's not a matter of good and bad. Are you a good or a bad person? It's just, do you exist? You existing is all that this is apparently about. And you may do things that are deemed good and deemed bad, but that doesn't make you all that. And I think putting that aside allows you to grow in your self-esteem.
Yeah, it's, you talk about this a lot from a musical standpoint, but also standing up for your worth, knowing what you offer, not apologizing for taking up space. Has that resonated for you personally throughout your life? Is that something that's, been something that you've been thinking about?
Like feeling comfortable taking up space?
Yeah, and I think, like I said, when I said that you were meek, I was thinking more of your personality more than your voice. You've always had a strong, beautiful tone.
Thanks.
You're welcome. We give compliments for free out here. But you've grown into being able to say no easier, being able to tell people, this is not okay. This is not the rate. This is not how I want to be treated. This is how I need to communicate. In so many aspects, personal, professional. Like, how has that grown? Is it just through trial and error? Is it, have you done work to really kind of be able to beef that up?
I think it is the confidence that I was talking about. Just like, sometimes it's that simple. No, I was not always that confident, but in like sitting on the things that make me unique and special, that has been what's given me confidence. So yeah, I mean, just like, okay, so I can chart this in an hour, whereas most people need like a couple days. And I can also record it and engineer myself at home and deliver everything to you like within the day. And I'm like, very personable, and I can do edits and stuff. I can get you what you need within like a day or two, which not everybody can do by themselves, let alone with people. So actually, no, I'm not going to accept $200 for this. Sorry. Right. With all due respect, if you have more, great. If I have time and nothing else to do and I really want to do the project, fine. But like, it really is like sitting with yourself. Not just, I think at the core, it's just understanding your worth, which is a confidence thing, but also then boundaries and just sitting with yourself and realizing, what is it actually that I want? Like, it took me so long to realize that, like, sometimes in settings where you're like, I don't know if that person likes me, and like and then you get so overwhelmed with thinking about that other person that chances are you don't even like them. That's why you're having that thought.
It's projection, right?
So okay, fine. Be honest about like how you're feeling, instead of projecting onto the some scenario that may not be real, because it's like more convenient maybe to cast rather than realize.
Yeah, to deal and to feel.
Hashtag. So it's all of that's given me more confidence, but also, and then, asking friends, like Alex has definitely advised me on a lot of things with wording and what I should be receiving as payment, if we're talking about that. So your community is also really helpful.
It's funny because, yeah, when it's your stuff, I'm like, absolutely, you should do this thing. And then, of course, when it turns around, I'm like, well, maybe. So, but yeah, community is important. But I think you have definitely, especially with the circumstances that you've had to go through, the way that you handle those now are so much different than you would have done younger, which of course makes sense, And
I would have taken it personally too.
That's also another thing. How do you balance that?
I don't know. I know in work, I kind of just am like, I've been beat down enough. Like when I first started in this line of like singing for huge artists and touring and da-da-da, I guess I did believe the idea that they sell you that it leads to exposure.
Look, we've lived through COVID. Exposure,
right?
So
it's not the exposure that they make you feel like it is. You do get exposed to a network of people, but well, I'll just leave it there. So I kept going into these experiences expecting something that I never got. And then I was like, oh, because that's not what this job is. I'm still defining what it is, I guess, but the job isn't about me. Me showing up as a background singer is not about me. And even if they chose me because of my voice and specifically how it adds to the project, it's still not my project / about me. So I just need to really lower my expectations when I walk in now, because a lot of times for them, it's really about the bottom line money, what they have the budget for, what they have the bandwidth for, whether or not you fit into the aesthetic. You are just someone that they cast to direct, and you just need to follow direction. I'm good at following direction. That's fine. But as we were talking about earlier, I don't really get a lot of fulfillment from not being part of the direction, or I don't know, a participant. But I know that now, which is why it's a lot easier for me to either reject an offer respectfully, negotiate respectfully, or take something that like might not be what I deserve, but for whatever reason I decide to take it. I've set that boundary and expectation with myself. I know what I'm going in for. I just need to follow direction, and then I'll move on to the next thing. It'll serve as maybe funding for the next project or whatever. It's never been personal in those settings. You just feel like it is because you have these dreams of what it's like to be on the stage. Mm-hmm. And it really just is not that all the time. It can be though, which is what's tricky. You hope that you land those gigs where it does feel like that. I've had a couple of those moments in my life, but I wouldn't say that it's a constant. And again, it's not about me. And therefore it's not a bad thing. It just is a thing.
From the professional aspect, it's not
right
for your fulfillment, but for you.
But for me, it's something I need to observe, notice.
Exactly, right.
And then I see where I can take matters into my own hands. And so again, like whenever I get into personal situations, I'm like, okay, how can I transfer this over? Because this is really hard right now. Like it feels personal. The best I've gotten so far is asking questions and then realizing that I don't know everything. I really swore that my reality was the reality. And it's not even like a pretentious, like you are wrong. It is.
Yeah.
How are you telling me that this isn't what's happening?
When I'm right there.
When I'm right there and I'm living it, and this is exactly what I'm feeling. But
yeah, we overthinkers, and, we are co-presidents of this club.
Yes.
I think, and #therapy, if you're not in it, before you subscribe to this podcast, please check that out.
Check out therapy.
But yeah, and you can let me know if you resonate with this, but tend to think about a scenario so often that because my thinking is in overdrive, it gives me the false perception that like I actually am thinking expanded about a situation. It's like, no, you're just thinking about the same limited perspective over and over. And that's why we think, how could you possibly believe or think something else? And it's like, no, because you've run this scene 100 times the exact same way.
The exact same way.
There are a million other possibilities.
There are actually a million other possibilities, which is the scary part.
Yeah.
It's the scary part. That scene from Inside Out 2 choked me.
The anxiety?
When anxiety was like projected in the conference room or whatever, and like all the anxieties are in their cubbies, like creating stories. And I think I forgot what the line was, but it was something like, you don't use your imagination. Something about imagination and like being creative in the scenarios you makeup, and something about the word creative got me. I was like, oh, yeah, I am very creative, and I'm using it towards the wrong thing.
Right.
Like, I could use that creativity elsewhere. So to try and quiet my mind, now I start to ask questions, even if they sound dumb, even if it's my best friend who I know is not judging me, but I feel judged in the moment. I will just ask, what did you mean by that?
So smart, though.
Yeah, and it's very humbling. It's very humbling to accept that you don't know what they meant, even if it's somebody that you feel like you know like the back of your hand. Like in relationship, okay, this is somebody I think I know like the back of my hand. I'm pretty sure this is what's going on. And that is a whole other galaxy of a person with more and more galaxies that you may never know.
And they may never know.
So asking questions is a great way to get to that. That's where I've started. I've actually made a whole lot of progress, I will say. But I have a lot more to go because I would love to get to the point where my mind doesn't jump. My mind's already jumped before I ask the question, but at least I'm asking the question.
I just need you to confirm the answer to that.
I just need you to confirm or deny, but I've already gone somewhere.
Answer. Right. There is a right or wrong.
Right. I don't want to jump anymore, but we'll see if that happens in this lifetime.
You know, the cardio is important.
Cardio is important.
I do that. Yeah.
I'm open to being wrong.
Yeah. Like, it's not something I feel normally.
Like whatever
that feels like I'm open to it.
Whatever the thing what's the word? Oh my God. Whatever the thing is that I anticipated did happen eventually.
Right.
But
so I'm not upset by being wrong presently.
Right.
Because eventually.
But if eventually it happens, I do expect some kind of acknowledgement for the fact that I was right.
You're like, and also acknowledgement that I waited to be right.
I accepted the reality that was wrong at the time, but ultimately, I don't see an issue here.
And that's growth.
And that is growth.
Oh man, love that.
Yeah.
So we've talked a lot about your work and participation with other artists. But as you just mentioned, you have your own passions and own journey as an individual artist. So what are the things that are bringing you joy, or what are the things that are in your attention right now?
Right now I'm working on some vocal arrangements for an artist. It's with a team that I feel safe with for the most part from what I've seen so far. And so I love that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love sitting down and creating harmonies and still in the conversation after my first draft goes out. I was part of a project once where I never heard anything after the first draft. and then half the songs did get used, and then the album came out.
It was great. I'm a fan like everybody else.
I'm like, wow, okay, cool. I guess this is good. Thank God the first draft I was proud of.
At least they still use you.
Right. At least they still use me, because they definitely could have not.
Yeah. But for your own project.
Oh, right. Still talking about other people's stuff.
I love that, though. You're like always a collaborator.
Always a collaborator. I just finished a master on a single that I am putting out. Hopefully by the end of the year. I'm also working on a vocal arrangement of one of my favorite songs right now that I've been working on for the past, actually, I think I started this arrangement last year, but just because of life, it's just taken a while, and then it's literally my favorite song, and so I needed to be perfect for where I am right now, and it just hasn't been there yet, but yeah, I thought this was going to be out a long time ago. I charted it all out, went into the studio to record everything that I had written, and then felt it in the moment. And then maybe a couple weeks after, I was like, oh, okay, this needs edits, which on another day, we'll talk about the value of editing.
Right.
Because that's also synonymous with humbling yourself and accepting that you don't know everything. Because I don't think I was such a great editor in the past, but now I actually look forward to editing, muting things, and just determining whether or not they need to be there or if they need to be different. So anyway, that has been what's taken the most time with this arrangement. But it's just a vocal arrangement of my favorite song, and that's probably like the best situation for me to be in. So I'm excited for those two to be out. And I'm also excited to really feel like I'm speaking as though I know what I want, but it's so hard for me to say no to a gig when I'm offered one. And so I'm really excited to be in a headspace where truly my music and brand is at the forefront.
Okay. And so you haven't named any of these, so we'll go into them also. Okay, great. So in these secret projects, is there like a message? Is there like, what is being emanated by you emotionally?
Yeah, I mean, like, I do write from personal experience. I feel like everybody does, but when people say I write from personal experience, it sounds like not everybody does. So it sounds like something It sounds like something I need to identify.
Some people write from turtles' perspective.
Right. I just feel like, okay, but everybody says it so much that I'm like, I guess I also have to to make that clear. The first single that I want to come out, that's not, the vocal arrangement is a cover. The other song is an original called Mirror that I wrote when I was in the thick of a relationship that I didn't really understand was not working out for me, but I kept showing up as best as I possibly could. Alex knows. I lost weight.
Yes.
I was not in a good way. I was yeah.
No.
It was so bad I wanted to take pictures of myself to remember how skinny I was, and then I was like, oh, yeah, not like that though.
Shout out to those of us who have gotten abs in our most depressed moments, you know?
Yeah, but yeah, you, yes, me. I was like, anytime I look at that,
it's not great to be clear.
And then you stuck with it. Right. I gained all the weight and more back, and I'm very happy about that.
It's a
healing food.
Right.
But in how many times I showed up in the way that I did, I was really pushing myself to try and be a good partner. As best as I knew how at that time. That's another story. And one day I was like, I've been through so much here, and I still like what I see in the mirror. And that was very profound for me because I don't think I felt that way about myself, period, before that epiphany. And so, yeah, that's what I wrote the song about. And I try to, most of my songs are about heartbreak just because it's easier to put into words and needs to be expressed. Music is often a form of expression for people, a safe space to say what you don't know how to speak. And so I don't necessarily run down the street saying, oh my gosh, I feel so great today. If that were the case, that'd probably be what my music's about. But yeah, if I need to vent about something, it's usually heartbreak, which is why a lot of my songs are about that. But I'm so happy I have this one song that's like optimistic.
Yeah, and so forth. And, you know, you said it took you a while to kind of see that worthy person.
Mm-hmm.
There's certainly projection of like, do you feel that maybe, or possibly, and alongside your own self-esteem things, that like you were pouring energy into being a good partner to kind of mask the way you were feeling?
I didn't know at the time that was what I was doing. Like, there was only one reality that I could see at the time, because I didn't have the best examples of romantic relationships. And so I actually considered that what I had was like really good, which in some ways it was really good, but at the heart, no, it wasn't healthy. I think I looked at being a partner as not playing a fake role, not abandoning yourself, but needing to show up in a certain way, needing to be the person who always has your back, who seemingly doesn't have any issues with you. I don't know, just like everything's good. And I consistently was not that I thought something was terribly wrong with me, which is what took me to therapy in the first place. And in therapy, I learned that I'm just not in the right relationship. And then I had to deal with that. I've since been with other therapists, and now I see that that in hindsight, I just didn't know what it meant to be vulnerable. Like, vulnerable is not just crying in your partner's arms, or even I was as vulnerable as I could be. And at the time I could express my emotions. I could say what's wrong, but I couldn't really see a resolve.
Right. And
now I'm like, yeah, because for someone who's so expressive on stage, I did not know the depth of the well of my emotions. I really just didn't. Aside from romantic relationships, I had always suppressed that. So, I'm having this epiphany right now. Wow. So, had I known, I think I totally would have been more willing to humble myself and ask questions and like be open to different realities, but I actually did not see them. And yeah, now with my therapist, I see, okay, so really this whole thing is just about me and my journey of like being okay with myself. And that makes it a lot easier to bring someone else in, give them the benefit of the doubt, not project on them less, and really like be in community, be in partnership with somebody. Being a good girlfriend is not having no issues. And I kind of thought that's what it was. Looking good, being a yes man almost. Being easy. Yeah, because when you come home, the last thing you want is more conflict.
Right.
Yeah, that's not. I was trying to be that person and failing miserably.
Well, like you said, it is kind of abandoning or prioritizing someone else's peace over your own needs. But it also sounds like as you do your own healing, your music expands in subjects. I mean, I think it's not a coincidence that Maris is a positive piece because you've been doing the work.
Yeah, 100%. I feel really grateful for that. And even though a lot of my songs are about heartbreak, they're about many different facets of the heartbreak. Like, I have a song called If I Knew What I Know Now. And so I'm just kind of asking a bunch of what ifs and being honest about them. I feel
like that could also be like a screaming rock song.
That could also be a screaming rock song. I have a song called Made It, like, in case I didn't say it, though I had one foot out, I do wish we'd made it.
Bars.
Okay. So it's not, and I think at its core, it's moving away from you suck. Because a lot of people in your life don't actually suck. It's so much easier to feel like they do, but they don't. They just don't know the impact of their actions and are really trying to do their best. And some people do suck. But yeah, no, people do deserve more grace. And so I can see that. And I can also see that this did not work for me. I don't like how you did this, but that doesn't mean you're a bad person.
Right. Yeah. Most of us don't do it right all the time.
Yeah.
So I've heard.
Yeah.
So, no, I think it's great. And it's been beautiful to like watch the journey. I'm excited to hear this song.
Thank you.
Now in a couple of years, like when someone's like, oh, India has made it, what does success look like for you?
The tricky part about that question is that I don't know that I'll feel it when I get there, but success to me looks like touring around the world, having a big enough budget to pay my people more than fairly, comfortably, not be not be concerned about whether or not I can afford the promises I just made. And just feeling like I'm being respected wherever I go. I put way too much time and energy into this to feel like I don't matter. I don't need my name on a plaque, but I think we've all been in so many situations where we just are treated like the help, and I'm just kind of like, you have no idea who you have at your disposal right now, and I'm really tired of that. And respect can look like a bunch of different things. It can look like a hug. It can look like a thank you. It can look like flowers. Regardless, I do know when I walk into rooms where I'm welcome, and I would like to feel that as much as possible. But yeah, like Michael Jackson was a huge inspiration to me, and I love the high production value performances, the theater of it. I don't know that my music calls for that.
I was going to say, I'm excited to see these dance moves.
Because I'm like, I love those memes that are like, what song does he have that calls for this?
Right.
And I'm like, that feels like me. Because in a perfect world, I'd tour with a guitarist and be done. But I went to a John Mayer performance, and he also has that vibe. It's very broken down, and a lot of the songs are just him and his guitar. And he's still selling out arenas and like having massive production value. And so I'm like, okay, I could even do a step up from that because, well, my music's different than his, and it's like just the vocal lines just by nature are like more dynamic. Like maybe there is room for me to give my audience the same satisfaction as I got when I was at his concerts, but like a little more theater.
Okay.
Yeah. I love John Mayer a lot.
Yeah. I still remember your Stop This Train arrangement. I know this like
way back.
Scattertones, you just gotta shout out. But yes. No, it's great. So aside from your own individual journey as an artist, you're also starting to include other avenues as you go into a professorship. So what are we teaching, Professor?
We are teaching kind of a create your own. I am going to start with teaching vocal arranging and vocal master classes. Education and mentorship has been very important to me as I am a product of music programs throughout the country. And I definitely wouldn't be the musician I am without them. So I love opportunities to give back, which is why I do love, like, I don't want to be a vocal coach as my entire career, but getting to coach on The Voice and American Idol and Alter Ego and some of these other shows has been a true gift. Going back to mentor at the Young Arts Foundation, which I was a product of as well, and just teaching in my private studio too. I love that stuff. It's very fulfilling. So I know that teaching at the collegiate level will be great. I just need to make sure it doesn't take over my life, because I do give 200% to whatever I do. But it won't because I have music to write.
Good period.
But I am excited about continuing that education avenue.
Yeah, I was going to ask, but it seems like you already kind of have thoughts about the balance of like adding yet another hyphen behind your name of things that you do. And
I've never done this hyphen before.
Yeah. You might have to stop doing nails, but
I might have to stop doing nails, but like honestly, the nails are me.
Right.
They're in me.
Like they grow from you, or like just a passion, or
all of the above.
Okay, got it.
So I don't really need to like think about how that's going to factor into my schedule when it is a part of me.
Understood. So we won't. Yeah, nails. They're there.
Nails.
They'll keep growing.
Yeah, they'll keep going. Right. Nails. They'll keep growing.
Right.
Yeah. I'm nervous about the balance, but I know I'll find it because I always do.
So we've talked about so many aspects. So thank you for being so vulnerable and sharing. When people hear the name India Carney in 5 years, what do you hope they think of?
I hope they think of however my voice makes them feel. Yeah. Because some people know me from a bunch of different things. I do think at the end of the day, they do know me for my singing, but I think how my singing registers on a record is different than a vocal arrangement, which is different than somebody's background vocals. So I hope they receive my music and think about however that made them feel.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that.
Wow. I didn't know I'd have an answer.
That was nice. And kind of going back, if you could tell yourself something, maybe right after you graduated college, or when you were younger, if you can give yourself advice or some note from all the wisdom you've gained in the past couple of years, what would you say?
Generally, it is not personal. The problem is sometimes it is personal. That's why we get so caught up overthinking the scenario. But most of the time, whatever was done to you or whatever they said was not directed to ruin your day. It was a blip where they're only thinking, people really only have the lens that they have to see the world. And I would remind myself that all the time. And I think that would have opened me up to exploring myself a lot sooner than 25 years old was when I started to explore myself. I'd say 30 was when I actually kind of started to get a hang on it ish. So I'm 32. So I am fresh. So yeah, I think if I learned earlier not to take everything personally, that would have spread out into other areas of my life as well.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's interesting because you said sometimes it is personal, and it might be, but it's like personal for them. Like how they act toward you is like not really, it's not in your control.
It's not.
So yeah, it's a beautiful, because I think, yeah, it's very easy to get hung up and offended even now.
Mm-hmm. And even worse for me, get coaxed into thinking that you can fix it, because it's really the people pleasing angle of that yes. I was stuck in. You can't fix shit. You can't fix anyone if you want to use this uncensored clip instead.
No, you really can't. And you certainly can't move people along any farther than they want to be moved. So no, such a good, seems like releasing like other people's expectations and actions on you seems to be like the big.
Yeah, 100%. That's what I hope my 30s will be about. I deserve it after all this time of being so freaking sad and overthinking. I deserve a break, which I can't get because of everything happening in the world. Empires crumbling and children being bombed. I could go on and on. People being snatched off the street. It's absolutely heartbreaking, and I don't feel like I can get a break. But I try to find moments of break time amidst the madness. Even those feel selfish, but I won't be of any use if I'm not present anyway. So
I think that's because I think a lot of people have that thought about, how can I take joy? And it's like no one really moves in a consistent and sustainable way through anger and sadness. So like you have to take moments for yourself so that you can show it for others. So I think that's very wise.
It is true. It's difficult. So.
And last question. What, personally, musically, what are you still figuring out that you are willing to share with?
Figuring out? I am trying to figure out self-care in general. Like whatever the self-care routine is, now that I'm 32 and my body's falling apart, like I actually do need to factor in time, not just for the gym, but also for my physical therapy exercises, for just the joints that are freaking falling apart, and the sleep, and then the nutrition. Therapy's fine. That's easy to make time for. But when I'm on the go, I do not eat well. And if we don't have day rooms and we're just like on a bus for 12 hours going to the venue, I'm not working out. I'm horizontal and my back hurts. So I don't get back to the gym until 2 months later when I'm home. So it's being more intentional about the self-care routine, and then finding things to diversify. Like retail therapy is a real thing. It also costs money. So what are some other things that I could do?
More financially efficient ways.
You know, and even if I can afford it, that doesn't mean I need to be doing that every time. So what else can I do? I'm still coming up with that. Yeah, diversifying. Like I can't make an apple pie every day. Especially not with these nails.
Back to the nails. This is really a podcast about nails if you haven't caught on, with just some music and personal life sprinkled in.
You know.
So, no, that I think, well, one, you are a light.
So are you.
Thank you. I was like, this is my time to compliment you, though. But,
okay.
But no, and I think your music, even what I love about your music is even though it has been a lot about heartbreak, you know, it is so personal and so vulnerable. And you tell your story a lot. I mean, obviously, I know your story. But you also share it a lot. And I think aside from you expressing your own pain and you finding your own voice, I think the process of that, when you let other people in, like makes you so much more impactful and meaningful as an artist. So it's been such a joy. I remember the first time I saw you singing at UCLA, which was insane. I literally walked up to you and said, we're going to be friends, which actually in hindsight is probably really creepy because that doesn't really give you a lot of like agency.
It was fine because you're the only Black person at the school.
There was that. I mean, yes, you know, there were
so
the Wakanda
I was inclined
ways.
to trust you. Yes.
You're like, you had no choice. Inclined. I was forced to trust. Process of elimination. But no, but it worked out.
Yes, it did.
Absolutely, it worked out.
Yes, it did.
It's a good tear. But no, thank you so much for speaking with me.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. And I can't wait to hear this music, which I still haven't heard.
Yes.
I always get the like sneak peeks, so I'm ready.
No, I'll send it to you.
Good. See, look at that. The rest of you will have to
Just
wait.
like that. Yes.
Yes.
Rest of you will have to wait.
Yes. But it'll be well worth the wait. Again, this is India Carney. My name is Alexander Lloyd Blake, and This Might Get Personal. See you all next time. And we're keeping that.